Timeout, overtime, hot take, debate, penalty by so many options. We on the way, unapologetic opinions, guests checking in, so I share on my social. Merch going up, my brother, he going global. Ass hold it down for the ladies, they need their own show. But we right back with it. Timeout with Coach Cam, we shouldn't miss a minute. Yeah. But we right back with it. Timeout with Coach Cam, we shouldn't miss a minute. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Timeout with Coach Cam. It's your boy Cam Chancellor, and I'm excited to have another episode, y'all. I appreciate all the views last week. I do appreciate, having Ace on, having Zim on. That was definitely dope to talk Bengals there, and definitely received a lot of love. So I definitely appreciate that. We'll discuss a lot today, because I got a lot to talk about. I'm going to discuss for the last time, because I'm not talking about it no more, the college football playoffs. I will talk about my Bearcats basketball last night losing to South Florida. First time we lose to South Florida at home since '88. Bengals Monday Night Football matchup versus the Steelers might look ugly. Also, I have our quick hot takes. But first, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get into it. I'm going to get into talking about and discussing the college football playoff system. First off, I'm not going to talk about this anymore. This is the last time I'm going to talk about it. Just because, I knew what it was last week. Last week showed all I needed to know. So once I seen that, I was no longer going to be upset at what else they did. Now, they basically doubled down on what they did last week. They doubled down on what they did last week, which didn't surprise me. They said, you know what? Forget that. Y'all didn't play. We going to drop you a spot. We're going to drop you back. We're going to drop you to 9. Iowa State doesn't play. They move up a spot to 6. Florida loses to a 3-5 football team. I don't care if it's LSU. LSU this year has been terrible. And we all know it. We all know that LSU has been terrible. And the fact that they only dropped one spot, so there go two lost teams above us. At some point, you got to be fair. That's my whole thing. Just be fair about the process. Be fair. Be fair. Like, I don't understand. And the eye test only is for Power 5 schools. They the only one that gets the benefit of the doubt when it comes to the eye test. They the only ones. Anybody else, they don't get that. They don't get the benefit of the doubt. They don't get the oh, they look good versus so and so. I mean, I know they ain't played nobody, but they look good. UC don't get that benefit. And I'm not even talking about just UC, that'd be unfair. Coastal Carolina as well. And what they do is, and what these voters do is, they put these ranked teams in that don't need to be in. Like Missouri last week. Missouri's not a top 25 football team. But they put them in, and it makes Georgia win look good. They hop above us. You see what I mean? You have 3 lost teams in the top 25. 4 lost teams that just dropped out. So for me, and I know everybody was texting me and calling me and like, man, look what they did to your Bearcats. Well, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but you got to keep going. You got to keep going. What's important for UC is that they must win. They must they must win this week and stay focused. They can't get lost in, the college football playoff talk and forget about the task at hand, because your first goal, first and foremost, is to always win your conference. That gives you a chance to play the big boys. That gives you a chance to prove yourself against one of those teams. So the process is just what it is. It is what it is. It's not a fair process, but hey, you know, you see, like I said last week, once you get there, dominate. Dominate when you get there. Dominate when you get there. Make sure that you leave no doubt whatsoever. So this week, Tulsa been talking trash. I expect the UC team ready to go. They haven't played in a while. I understand that, but I expect the UC team, ready to go, ready to ready to win, and to clinch them a chance to play in the New Year's Six Bowl, which I think a top 25 win against Tulsa would do. Now, moving on, I'm gonna stay with the Bearcats, but I'm gonna hop to a different sport. I'm gonna talk about Bearcats basketball here. It's been a struggle early, to say the least. Um, you have UC at a 2-3 record right now. You have them with losses to South Florida, Xavier, and Tennessee. Um, South Florida, is not, Brian Gregory has them definitely on the right track. He definitely has them on the right track. However, that's a game you got to have at home. That's a home game. We haven't lost to South Florida at home since 1988. 88, y'all. 88. That's a long time. That's a very long time. That goes to show you where we are as a program right now. And I know a lot of people on Twitter were saying I was hard on them, and that I'm hard on them. And that, Brandon needs time to get his guys in and be able to fully, get the system going. I get all that. I do. But my concern is right now, and I'm not calling for his job or anything. I'm just saying I have some concerns. One of my concerns is that we don't have an identity. We don't have an identity. Like I'm not like what do we do well? Like, I don't know what we do well. And people talk about, it took time for, Mick to build up his pro. But I understand that. But Mick came in with a plan. Mick Cronin knew exactly what he wanted to recruit and the guys he wanted to recruit. He knew he was going to recruit tough guys. He was going to recruit tough guys. And they was going to rebound and they was going to play defense. They was going to do those things. And you knew that on a night in and night out basis. Even Mick Cronin bad teams at the beginning. Even those teams at the beginning, you knew. So it's just for us. We have to get better. I think John Brennan has to be better. We can't keep losing down the stretch in games. We're in these ball games. And it's like soon as we get to the under 4 minute mark, it goes haywire. We stop running the offense that kept us in the game. We go start going 1-on-1. It's out of control. Turnovers. I'm not understanding on the week on every late game situation. We don't win. We haven't been winning. So I don't know. This year might be a struggle. I know it takes time to get your recruits in there. It takes time to get going, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going. I don't know. I thought we would be a little bit better. I thought it would be a little bit of a down year, but I thought we would be better than what we are. And it simply hasn't. That simply hasn't been the case. So um, we will see about UC basketball moving forward, and hopefully, they can start to gel a little bit. I know it's COVID, and we got a whole bunch of new players. It could be a struggle, but we're just not used to that. We're at least used to winning ball games around here, and things got to change. Things got to change fast, and hopefully, moving forward, we can get some athletic big next to Tariq Easton, who I think is going to be very good, and who I definitely like. But he needs some help rebounding around the rim. So we'll see moving forward. I'll continue to root, continue to be a fan, but right now it's not looking good. Moving on, Bengals, Steelers, Monday night. This can be a real disaster, y'all. I'm talking about this can be really, 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 really bad. Really bad. Brandon Allen, it's looking like he's not going to be able to play this weekend. So it looks like we're going to have Ryan Finley as the starter. Uh, my guy Evan here, worst Monday night game ever. Yes, yes, this will be the worst Monday night game ever. Definitely this year because it's such a lopsided matchup. You talk about we only scored 10 points with Joe Burrow. Um, I'm not sure how you're going to generate points with Ryan Finley. It looks like the line doesn't even want to block for him at the time, at half the time. He gets back there and he just get absolutely creamed. It's like he has no chance. This is gonna be a bad game to watch. I may not be able to get all the way through. I don't know in what ways we can win. Maybe if you run the football, you're gonna have to hold them under 20 to even give yourself a chance. And even with this offense, we may barely get 100 yards. It's in bad shape. And just speaking in the big Bengals in general, and what I've been hearing more and more of lately, and more people have been telling me, um, outside of the reports you've seen today, by Tyler on Twitter saying that it's possibly it could be the end and Geno Atkins and the Bengals can part ways. Um, Also, there's been a lot of people saying that Carl Lawson, they don't like Carl Lawson, and that's what I'm not understanding. We don't have any type of pass rush. He's the only person that generates pass rush or gets pressures on the quarterback, and yet I'm not understanding why we wouldn't want to sign him back. It just seems like this coaching staff, you know, has a vendetta out against against everyone. It seems like they have a vendetta out against everyone, and at some point you can't continue to alienate veterans like that. Why would people want to come here? Why would people want to come here? The way you just push Dunlap out the door. And it's like what this coaching staff does is they hit you with this. They play you out of position. Carlos Dunlap playing outside linebacker, covering linebackers in the flat. Have to cover in space. Not saying he can't do it. He's athletic. But that's not what he's paid to do. He's paid to get after the quarterback. He's paid to get after the quarterback. And we didn't allow him to do it. It's unfortunate. And then they say, look, and they try to make you look like a fool. Appreciate you, Sosa. Yeah, I'm definitely keep going, boss. And they try to make a fan say, look, see, he can't do it no more. Look at him. His effort bad. He can't get after the quarterback. He go to Seattle and now he darn near leading the team in sacks. Make it make sense. What this staff try to do is devalue the players, make them look worse than what they really are to get them out the door. AJ Green still has plenty in the tank. Plenty in the tank. I promise you he does. But it looks like he don't have nothing in the tank because they're using him wrong. They're just sticking him on the outside, not using him in the slot. Like, come on, man. The only thing I got you, man. I got you. The only thing that I liked about Bill Lazor was he was transitioning AJ to what he was going to be in the future. Before that toe injury in 2018, before in 2018, before he got injured, he had 46 catches, 648 yards, and 8 touchdowns in 8 games. So he was on pace for 1,200 yards. But you got to use him more in the slot, especially if you're going empty set. That means you can use Boyd and AJ in the slot. There's no reason to just stick him out wide, having to match him up with number one corners every play. That's not AJ Green no more. He's 32. Eventually, you lose it a little bit. He could still be an effective receiver in this league, used right. Of course, the Dunlap still got something left. And look how they did Geno this season. Look how they did him. He was out there playing with one arm. Out there playing with one arm. Making him look bad. Geno should have never, ever, ever been playing this season. He should have been on IR from jump. He should have been on IR from jump. But nah. He out there with one arm playing. Come on, man. Come on, man. Don't do that. Now look, you diminish his value, make it look like he don't have it no more. And now they're gonna release him. Because that's what the staff want. Meanwhile, if these moves keep being made, guess what this tells you? Zach Taylor ain't going nowhere. Zach Taylor sit up there and look comfortable in them press conferences because he know he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere, y'all. Zach Taylor will be the coach again. Now, there will be they will need to get rid of some of the staff, and that has to be the agreement, though. That has to be the agreement because you can't sit up there and tell me that, we can roll another year with Zach Taylor being the head coach of this football team, and we don't do nothing to the DC. We don't get rid of him. We don't do nothing to the line coach, Jim Turner. Those cats need to go. Those cats need to go. That's the only way I think about bringing Zach Taylor back. Is you got to gut the rest of the staff, and hopefully get some experienced coaches around him. But the thing is, who's going to want to work with Zach Taylor really? An inexperienced coach who hasn't won anything, hasn't won anywhere he's went. No veteran coach is going to put their reputation on the line like that. That's the unfortunate part about if you do keep Zach Taylor and gut the rest of the staff, because it's going to be another situation in which you know they're not gonna, coach is not gonna want to work with him, and then we're gonna end up with a staff just like he had previously, an inexperienced staff that doesn't know what they're doing. He can't keep throwing the ball 49, 59 times. I agree, man. He got Burrow jacked up. I mean, and it was in a situation to where he didn't have to. It was 2nd and 2 at our own 8-yard line. We back against the wall. Just run the ball. It made no sense. It made no sense at all. No play that he got hurt. In that game, he was on the pace for, uh, you, you know, how many throws? He was on the pace for 60 plus. He had already threw the ball 33 times. So it was ridiculous. Uh, Staff got to be held responsible for that as well. I'm not I'm not anyone, about anyone, losing their job, but you're in over your head at some point. And Zach Taylor has shown that he's incompetent at running a football team. You have the worst record ever starting off in the first 30 games. You're 425-1. Give me a break. At some point, you got to realize that you made a mistake as the coach. I mean, as the GM or as the owner, and say, hey, I messed up this hire. Let me fix it. And the way to fix it is to get rid of Zach Taylor, get rid of everybody, and let's start fresh. Let's try to get someone in here, that can provide a spark to the players, man, and make them believe. These players know. Trust me, it's a lot of them that's there, that's just being quiet and just want to play ball. But trust me, I promise you, there's a lot of unhappy people, you know, in that locker room with the coaching and with how they do things. Or who knows? Hey, we got to get someone in here. Like I said, I think we could get, uh, you know, a Joe Brady in here maybe. Uh, pick up the phone and just Joe Brady would be a good fit. With Joe Burrow, and Joe Brady is respected around the league. And I think other coaches want to work for him. But you're talking about um another coach that possibly is on our staff that may get promoted. I'm not gonna lie to you. It'll probably be Darren Simmons. Darren Simmons, a special team coach. It won't be a sexy hire, but he's well respected throughout the league. Opposing coaches talk about him week in and week out. And he can get coaches in here, respectable coaches in here to coordinate for him. I think that's important more than anything. Let's see. Banks say I like Eric Bieniemy from KC. I like him too, but will he come here? That's the question. Will he come here? Um, I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all. I don't know if he'll come here or not. So let me see. Yeah, like I said, Joe Brady. Maybe a Darren Simmons, promote him if they take that route. Since he's been here a while, and like I said, he's well respected throughout the league. Eric Bieniemy, I would like. There are several players. I mean, there's several coaches I would take over Zach Taylor. Because Zach Taylor is just not it. He's in over his head. Like I said, he's not a leader of men either. So that's it in a nutshell for me. I just think that it's important to be able to communicate with your players, even when you have to, bench them. Even if something like that, be transparent with them. Don't wait till they in the locker room and in the team meeting, and all of a sudden they third on the depth chart. Like that's cowardly. Speak to that man face to face, especially your veterans that's been with the team forever. So it's just alienating. Alienating the veterans. I just don't like that in Zach Taylor. And even this past weekend, I thought the initial game plan was good. Unfortunately, the fumbles just hampered them. We even had our own edition of the butt fumble this weekend. That's just, it just shows you where we're at as a team. But it wasn't much, that Zach Taylor could have done to prevent the fumbles. But however, you got to question situations like it's 4th and 1 and you put it in Alex Erickson's hands, a person that has not been reliable all season, a person that has fumbled multiple times, and you put it in his hands on 4th and 1, and you expect something good to happen of it. That's the things that I'm talking about. With Zach Taylor. But all in all, it is what it is. I want us to lose the rest of the games. I definitely don't want us to win another game. Just because it's pointless to. Another win could possibly lead to a Zach Taylor, leads to Zach Taylor staying here. I just feel like, if we're gonna, lose, let's keep losing. Hopefully we can get the highest pick possible. And, Zach Taylor can, get up on out of here as well. All right, I'm gonna move on to our quick hot takes for the evening. Now, it's a circus that's what's going on in Houston right now. It's a circus that's going on. And, at some point, I feel like they just need to get the Houston Rockets, that's what I'm talking about. They need to give it up. They need to trade James Harden. They need to trade James Harden. They done gave James Harden everything. Everything. They gave James Harden everything. They gave him basically control over the roster. They asked him every time, about a trade that he okayed on. They consulted him about every coach that they brought in. They built the team just how James Harden wanted it to be built. They've catered to James Harden more than y'all would think. He hasn't delivered them a ring. And now don't get me wrong, I do understand they ran into the Warriors, but they was up 3-2, up 15 game 7. You gotta close that deal. You gotta close that deal. And for him to, act like that, and I understand, player mobility. I respect that. I definitely respect player mobility. But if I'm Houston, I'm like, forget it. I'll trade you, but get the best package that you can get. Don't cater to what he want. Get the best package you can get. But honestly, the best package you can get is either from the 76ers or the Brooklyn Nets, the places he want to go. Those are the best assets that you can get. Because I think the Nets have more. Because Philly has said they're not getting rid of Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid. They've said that multiple times. They've said that multiple times. They're not getting rid of them. So what that tells me is Brooklyn may have the assets for him. Give up a Spencer Dinwiddie, a Karis LeVert, a couple picks, and maybe you have to throw in a DeAndre Jordan for money reasons and get it done. Said nobody's gonna pay that price for him. Hey, somebody gonna pay that price to get him over the hump. I'm telling you, because he's still a superstar. He averaging 35 plus points a game. He's still. I mean, we can say what we want about James Harden, but the numbers is there. Say what you want, but the numbers are there, and we can't deny that. So you know, my hot take is they need to trade James Harden, man, and move on and move forward with their basketball team. They catered to him every way possible, and he didn't deliver a ring. He didn't deliver a ring. So that's not on the organization. That's on James Harden. So I would be like, you know what? It is what it is. We gonna look to move you. We gonna look to move you. Kyrie and Harden won't work. They gotta make it work, bro. Kyrie, Harden, and KD will have to make it work. They will have to make it work in that D'Antoni system because that's what it is. Nash the coach, but it's basically almost the same system. They can make it work. I think they can. As crazy as it is, I think they can. But that's yet to be seen because Harden seemed like he don't work well with anybody. So Harden may be one of these guys where he just need his own team. Send him somewhere where he the only star. Surround him around a whole bunch of shooters and a rim running big man, and let him just average 40 a night because that's what type of player Harden is. I don't, you may be right. It may not work, but I will have to see. I will have to try. If I'm the Nets, I would have to try. I would, and that would be a nasty big three, especially in the Eastern Conference, and then we would get a Lakers and Nets finals there, and I think I would be excited to see that. You know what? I was excited about Giannis Antetokounmpo being a free agent. I was excited because you know what? I was like, "Ooh, Dallas can get him," and I know Dallas is a nice spot for him, and I know Dallas would be a place that he would look at to play with Luka and KP. But he signed the Supermax, 5 years, $228 million, and you can't blame him. Can you blame him seriously? I don't think you can, man. That's a lot of money to turn down. And you know what? He's going for a legacy. Because the thing is, if Giannis win one in Milwaukee, he's a legend forever. It's just like Dirk in Dallas. He stayed, was a lifer, got that ring, and that shot his legacy to the top. Giannis can do the same thing because he already got two MVPs. He got a Defensive Player of the Year. He got everything else. He just needs a ring. And we're talking about arguably one of the best players ever. If he get one in Milwaukee, and I gotta respect him. I gotta respect him. He been consistent this whole time. He's been consistent the whole time saying, you know what, I'm not gonna, run and go here. I'm not gonna run and go there. I'm gonna try to make it work in Milwaukee. We're gonna try to get this thing done. They must have convinced him that they're gonna build around him. And you know what? I'm happy. I'm happy for the city of Milwaukee. If they would have lost, Giannis, that would have hurt them. You know what I mean? I'm happy for them, and I'm happy that they're, uh, you know, that Giannis stayed there. So try to make it work. You never know. It may happen down the road where it doesn't work and he ends up getting traded. But you can't say he ain't tried because he ended up signing a super max with him to try to get this done. And I hope he does get it done. Because that would mean that would be huge for his legacy, and then you will probably see him never leave Milwaukee ever. Now, I have an issue with the NFL award process. I have a huge issue because the MVP has now turned in who's the best quarterback in the NFL this season. And at some point, we got to start looking at this now. I understand quarterback is an important position. You got to have a QB. You got to have a functional QB. I understand that. I understand that. But it's like no other position gets any type of consideration. No type of consideration. Derrick Henry needs more talk about being in the NFL MVP. Talk about a person that averaging almost 120 yards a game, over 1,500 yards already. Where would the Titans be without Derrick Henry? They're nowhere near as good. They're nowhere near as talented. Derrick Henry is on the pace to possibly get 2,000 yards in a passing era. Doesn't that count for something? But yet, all we do is talk about the quarterbacks when MVPs come up. Is it Aaron Rodgers? Is it Patrick Mahomes? We don't talk about Derrick Henry enough. For a while when Kyler was high, is it Kyler Murray? Is it Russell Wilson? Is it this quarterback? So if the MVP needs to be seriously looked at, because if it's not, they just need to name it the best quarterback award. Who's the best quarterback for that year? Because at some point you gotta look at other positions too. You gotta look at for the Rams, Aaron Donald. I understand he'll get consideration for Defensive Player of the Year, but why not MVP? I think if you take him away from that defense take a huge step back, and their team takes a huge step back. Because all y'all tell me that y'all hate Jared Goff. So I want to definitely, address that and look at that differently. Because I don't, I feel like Derrick Henry should be, up there and being talked about more as the MVP. All right, y'all. That's it. A quick episode of Timeout with Coach Cam. Make sure you catch me tonight on the ASAP Real Talk All Sports All Plays Network at 9 o'clock. I'll share. Catch me on there as well. Give you all the hot takes. You know what it is. I appreciate y'all for watching. I appreciate y'all for commenting. Please share. Please subscribe on YouTube. Timeout with Coach Cam. Also, like I said, have Timeout with Coach Cam wristbands 3 for 10. Hit me up. I appreciate y'all. We out.